So a lot of times when I'm doing models, I find it helpful to turn on one of my games. This is a game called IL-2 Stormovik, 1946. There's a ton of aircraft in here, both Axis and Allies. And this was one of the first flight sims ever to offer a 3D image of the cockpit. And I often use this as a color guide when I'm painting models. And the series I'm doing at the moment, the Messerschmitt Bf-109 E4. This is the cockpit of the 109 E4, and if you'll note, there's there's not a lot of color. There's a lot of grays, which is not uncommon for German hardware. But I'm just noting the different shades of gray. Namely here on the stick, on the seat here, it's not any padding, it's just a bucket seat. It was such a small, tightly packed aircraft that didn't really have any room for if I'm correct, I believe that the 109 pilots use their parachute kind of as a cushion, because back in World War II, the parachutes, the ones that I've seen anyway, with fighter pilots, they're not attached to the back. They're kind of more attached to your rear end as opposed to your back. So I have a feeling that they kind of sat on those. Anyway, I'm just noting like a very lighter gray here with the floor being very dark, almost black. Which is German gray. A lot of people like to call German gray. In my opinion, German gray is just very, very dark gray. So it's two shades of gray here. We have our gun sight, of course, too, which you should take note of. There's a bit of leather here. There's also the crosshairs here, but that's not going to be possible on a second scale model gun sight. First one I ever did, I could not get that gun sight in there properly, so I just didn't put it in. But I know I'm going to have more success this time. But a bit about the game, if you haven't played it yet, and you really want a good flight sim, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, IL-2 Stormovik is the quintessential World War II flight simulator. They've tried so many different flight sims since this came out, and none has come close. I think this came out in around 2001. This is about 12 years old now, and they put out a new IL-2 Stormovik recently, IL-2 Cliffs of Dover, and it's got real potential. Apparently there's still a lot of bugs, and it's not for the arcade type gamers. Apparently it goes beyond any simulator before it, and you do engine starting, like complex engine startup procedures, and it's really a real unforgiving simulator. But you should pick this one up, even if all you do is go into the fighters and look at what they're like and get an idea for the color scheme that you want to do for your cockpit. Because let's face it, sometimes I've noticed in this set, in this Tamiya, this 109 set, the instructions are giving me, where the last model I did was the Corsair, with the Hasegawa instructions, which are so awesome. It's a bit more taxing, these Tamiya instructions. There's a lot of black and a lot of white and a lot of numbers instead of colors, which is pretty typical for models. But now, in addition to looking through the cockpit, you can also look at the outside of the aircraft. This happens to be an E4, like I said, and it's a real nice airplane. It's got that yellow nose that's so distinct. One thing I like to make note of is this is something that really confused me for a long time. There's a massive hole right here in the E4 version, and almost all E4s that I've seen. And back when I first started learning about World War II, I didn't realize that there were different versions of the same plane, like a 109E, a 109F, or 109G. I just figured there was just one kind, you know. I know that I read somewhere that the basic armament was two 13mm machine guns and one 30mm that came through the nose. And I couldn't understand why the E4 had this thing here, but there's no 30mm in the 109E. The information that I read is that the 109E actually was supposed to have a cannon in here, but it didn't get in. It didn't get in time, and the cannon idea got scrapped, but they kept the propeller up, which is a real shame. That 20 or 30mm cannon through that engine would have really given them just unbelievable firepower in 1940 and 1939. It's amazing. Anyway, I guess that's it. Why don't we just start it up for shits and giggles, and I'll show you a little bit about it. Alright, so I usually like to get, not in my cockpit, but I like to get an outside view of my aircraft when taking off. Ideally, you want as much visibility around you, especially when you're in the 109. So I'm going to start up my engine and make sure my throttle is all the way down. I'm going to have to do this one-handed now, so I'm going to have to forget about my applying the brakes. So I'm going to put my flaps down. I got combat flaps. Landing or takeoff, and landing flaps. So we're going to use. Normally I use takeoff, but we're going to do this one-handed. I'm going to use combat, just a little bit of. So I want to be a little bit more stable, a little bit more airspeed, and yeah, hit the throttle. Here we go. Nice and slow. If you use too much gas, it's going to pull your plane forward so fast that it's going to make you do a face plant into the ground. You want to touch that throttle up with just a bit. And here you're going to want to play with the rudder, because it wants to go to the right. It's just the way the engine is spinning. You have to compensate for that. I like to get up to about 95. And at around 180, just open the nose a little bit. Maybe a little, put the gear up. And we are on our way to God knows what, because I didn't read the mission briefing. Now, why don't we try something fun? 7.92s. Not very powerful. Fire off the 20mm MG151, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what rips wings off the Spitfires, sadly. Now, where is that aerodrome? I'm going to try and land it one-handed. Oh, that was close. Where is it? I'm going to have to cut my speed, that much is certain. Oh, I think I see it. I think I see it. Let's put some combat flaps down to my airspeed. The chances of me landing this bird one-handed? Oh, yeah. runway. There's my bros taking off. Hey bro. Hey bro. Oh no! Oh, I got him too. Oh god, I'm gonna be hung for this. Oh, I got another one. Yeah, well. Yeah, that was pretty badass. If those guys were Americans, I'd be pretty proud of myself right about now. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, uh-oh, this isn't, no, oh, eject, Control E, Alt bail, eject, yeah.